and where they stand with delivery to Pease. And also, I saw in the Air Force request that you've requested funding in 2017 for a KC-46A fuselage trainer at Pease. Is that important training resource as we base the KC-46A at Pease?
Yes, ma'am. So right now, the KC-46 is on track to meet both their required aircraft availability delivery date, which is 18 aircraft in August of 17. We have had some testing delays, and the impact of that is that in a normal schedule, we would have aircraft be produced. We would induct them into the Air Force. We would do the maintenance and the testing on those. What's happening is, even though we believe they're going to be able to meet their required aircraft delivery date, we're going to get a number of aircraft all at once. So as we work our way through that, we believe that we're going to be able to absorb that in the first two bed downs, which is Altus and McConnell. And so by the time they actually get to Pease Air Force Base, we believe that we'll actually be back on track. So we're watching that very closely. We have had some issues lately with some boom axial loads, but we think we actually have the software fix in place. So we're on track, we believe, to meet the IOC dates.
Excellent, appreciate it. And I know that our airmen and all at Pease are anxiously waiting and ready, so we appreciate it. The update, and will keep us updated on where things stand there. I wanted to ask Admiral Howard, you and I talked about the Virginia-class submarine, and of course you've been to the shipyard, and I appreciate your visit there. Right now, are we able to meet all the combatant commanders' requests for support from our attack submarine fleet?
Ma'am, thank you for that question. Across our entire fleet, we're not able to meet the combatant commander request. And generally, their accumulated request is about 3 times higher than the force that we have. And so our SSNs and their multi-missions are very important to the combatant commanders.
And so as you talked about in your opening testimony, the size of the fleet, obviously our attack submarine fleet's phenomenal, but presence is very important, especially as we think about the Asia-Pacific region and also the Middle East and various areas around the world that we have to cover. As I look at right now under the Navy's current plan, you and I talked about this, but by 2021 we're at producing 1 Virginia-class submarine a year versus 2. And I know that Secretary Stackley had testified that he would be open to the idea of, if you were able to have achieve enough savings in the Ohio-class replacement program, that he would like to see you purchase 2 in 2021. Now, I understand you can't answer that question now until you know what the planning is and investment in the Ohio-class program going forward. But do you agree with Secretary Stackley that obviously, if this were something that you were able to achieve the savings and we were to give you the certainty that you needed, that there is an urgency and importance to making sure that we continue to build up and strive for the 2 production of Virginia-class submarines from 2021 going forward?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Yes, Senator, I do. In our last force structure assessment, we believe we need about 48 SSNs. As we've been buying 2 a year, then as the older ones start to reach the end of their life cycle, we will be down to 48 in 24, and then we continue to drop in numbers until we get into this bathtub in the 20s. And so in order to make sure we don't get to that bathtub, we're going to have to continue to build 2, and we're going to have to figure out how to get there. In terms of the Ohio replacement, one of our issues will be whether or not we will have to manage that funding for that asset. It's a strategic asset, and I certainly appreciate this group's work on the Strategic Deterrence Fund. But if we have to fund Ohio replacement within our budget top line, that will affect all of shipbuilding and actually affect the rest of the conventional force as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Admiral Howard.